Everybody still wakes up. The alarms still ring. Coffee still pours. Traffic still moves. But something never arrived with the sunrise anymore. People call it stress, burnout, depression, a phase, anything except the truth. Because admitting the truth would mean admitting an entire civilization slowly lost its soul, while pretending everything was fine. The terrifying part is not that society is collapsing. The terrifying part is that it learned how to function after meaning disappeared. The buildings still stand. The trains still run. The screens still glow. Even the smiles survived. But they no longer reach anything real. Human beings once woke up searching for life. Now they wake up searching for stimulation. And most people cannot tell the difference anymore. There was a time when silence healed people. Now silence exposes them. That's why nobody can sit alone anymore without reaching for noise. Music, notifications, videos, conversations, anything except themselves. Humanity became terrified of stillness, because stillness reveals what distraction was hiding. People stand before oceans now and feel nothing. Not because nature lost its beauty, because people lost their ability to receive it. The sea still moves physically, but emotionally, the world already stopped listening. Everybody is moving. Nobody is arriving. Look at modern civilization closely enough, and you realize people no longer travel toward meaning, only repetition. Wake up, commute, work, consume, sleep. Repeat until death interrupts the routine. The system perfected movement without direction. People stare into glowing screens while life passes beside them unnoticed. Bodies sitting together, minds somewhere else entirely. And the frightening part is this: most people are no longer escaping reality. They are escaping consciousness itself. Because consciousness became painful in a world built to suppress depth. Civilizations become obsessed with entertainment right before collapse. That pattern repeats throughout history. But this time, the Colosseum fits inside people's pockets. Every screen promises happiness, identity, success, belonging. Meanwhile, the people beneath those advertisements walk through life emotionally sedated, not fully alive, not fully broken, just numb enough to continue. That is the genius of modern control. Force creates resistance. Comfort creates obedience. Humanity did not become imprisoned physically. It became distracted spiritually. And eventually the noise became so loud, people could no longer hear themselves disappearing. People once worked to survive. Now they survive to work. Entire buildings filled with human beings performing tasks they secretly stopped believing in years ago. Artificial lighting replaces sunlight. Corporate language replaces honesty. Performance replaces identity. Everyone smiles professionally, while slowly collapsing internally. And nobody says it out loud because exhaustion became normal. That is the real horror. Not oppression, adaptation. Human beings adapted to emotional emptiness so efficiently, they started calling it adulthood. Everybody feels something disappeared. Nobody can name it. That's why the grief feels so strange. People mourn constantly now, but they mourn without understanding what they lost. Something vanished from the world quietly. Presence, depth, wonder, stillness, soul. And civilization buried those things slowly while calling it progress. Now people chase fragments of meaning through stimulation because they can still feel the absence, even if they cannot identify the corpse. That is why modern life feels haunted, because humanity attends the funeral every day without realizing it. Adults losing themselves is tragic. Children inheriting numbness is catastrophic. There was a time when wonder happened naturally. Children looked at the sky, at oceans, at insects, at stars. Now attention is captured before curiosity can even develop. An entire generation raised inside artificial stimulation before they ever encounter silence deeply enough to know themselves. And nobody panics, because the transformation happened gradually. That is how civilizations disappear. Not through explosions, through normalization. The world never stopped. That's what makes this terrifying. The lights still glow. The cities still expand. The systems still function. Civilization survived mechanically, but something human stopped moving inside it. And most people will never notice, because they were taught to confuse activity with aliveness. A society can continue operating long after its spirit disappears. That is where humanity stands now. Not dead, not alive, just endlessly distracted from the silence underneath everything. And maybe that is the final tragedy. The end did not arrive violently. It arrived comfortably, one distraction at a time.